guys, it's Lori the Youper Goddess, and it is 2 days after Thanksgiving. And I wonder if some of you are saying, oh, I have a leftover gravy, I have leftover turkey. What can I do with it? Well, I am going to show you a turkey pie that we've had in our family forever, and it is so good. But the first thing about this pie is the crust. And it is a suet crust, which has crisco and suet. The same thing if you watched our raisin pudding video. It's the same thing, but you're just putting it in the crust. This is chopped up suet, and you can find it in the grocery store in the meat department. Anyway, I'm going to teach you how to make crust, and I know a lot of you are afraid of crust, and I've made crust my entire life, and I've never really measured anything when I made it. My mom taught me how to do it, and I've taught a lot of my girlfriends how to do it, and more than once. So what I have in this bowl here for one of these pies is 2.5 cups of flour, and we're going to put salt. And this little thing I got is 2 teaspoons, so I'm going to put about a teaspoon and a half of salt in here. And this is a 1/3 cup Crisco plus 2 tablespoons. I made a pie earlier and I tried to measure everything for you so I could get like some type of measurement. And also a 1/3 cup of this suet, heaping. Just kind of get it on the top there. So what you're going to do when you make crust, you just use your hands and you're just going to mix the Crisco in. It's pretty easy. But I'm going to show you a little trick to know when you have enough Crisco in your crust. That's you know, if you don't have enough Crisco, the crust is really tough. If you have too much, it's kind of greasy. So okay, you got this all mixed. Now watch this. You take some of your flour mixture. You don't squeeze it real hard, just kind of gently. See how it's holding together? And when you go like that, you have to kind of, it doesn't fall apart real easy. You just take your thumbs and see that's a good mixture. So what I do is you're going to put all the flour to the side, and I have water here with ice in it. You're going to put about maybe 1/2 cup of water. 2 fingers. This is how you do it. You just go in a circle, and as you go, you're picking up some of the flour mixture. And this is going to turn into a little ball. And then you're going to grab it and just keep incorporating a little bit of the flour in there till it gets to the consistency of crust, you know, like when you're making a pie or whatever. See how nice? And then you're just going to keep doing that. And just put a little bit of water, because if you put too much, then it turns into a nightmare. You know, you can't add flour to this. That would make the crust just so tough that it wouldn't be very good. So see, I just put like, you know, another maybe less than 1/2 cup of water. Just kind of work it. See how nice? Then you just keep doing that. The hardest part is when you get to the end and you're like, oh darn it, I put too much water. Always, my last thing is always like not as good as the first one for some reason. But the more you make it, the better you'll get at it. And like I say, you don't have to put suet in this crust, but I think that's what makes this pie so special is the crust. And I only make this crust like once a year for this pie. Okay, so I cooked about 4 medium potatoes for this. I'm going to put this pie in this pie thing. And whenever you're going to boil potatoes, you know, you peel them, you rinse them really good, and always start them in cold water. You don't want to start boiling potatoes in hot water. You know, they just cook way better in cold water. And always salt the water. You know, a lot of people, they'll cook potatoes for mashed potatoes and they don't salt the water, and I don't understand that, because they taste 100 times better when they cook, you know, with the salt. And you can always add more salt too if you think they're flat. But see, I added about 3 tablespoons of butter in there. Now the trick to these potatoes is you're going to take your leftover gravy and you are gonna dump it. You know, like when you put butter in your mashed potatoes, well, you're putting gravy in them now, you know what I'm saying? And it's so good. So you mash your potatoes with the gravy. And you just want to like stick your face in there and eat it. I know I do. So you get them so they're kind of a, not runny consistency. Like I said, always taste them. My mom, that's my mom's gravy there. And oh my God, she makes like the best gravy in the world. I can say I suck at making gravy. I will admit that. That's good. I'm just gonna put a little bit more salt and a little bit more gravy. And I'm gonna, this gravy I got left, I'm dumping right in this pie when I make it, so it's gonna be so good. So that's the potato part. You can see here now I got all this beautiful white meat from the turkey, which this year it was so juicy. It was so good. And stuffing and corn. This is all leftovers. Now, what we're gonna do is we're just dumping this in here. And the stuffing, you might wanna break it up a little bit, you know, if it's sticky. And then all of this turkey. Oh my God. One year I made a ton of these and I put them in those like, those little pie plates and I gave them to all my friends. And they're like, oh my God, these are so good. I was like, you're welcome. So look at what that looks like. Isn't that great? Oh my God. Now, if you don't like corn, you know, you don't have to put corn. When my mom makes this, she only puts potatoes and turkey. That's it. That's how she makes hers. But, you know, Dean and I and the kids loved corn and we always had leftover corn, but you can put like peas and carrots. You can put whatever vegetable you like in these. You know, you could even throw some leftover green bean casserole in here. Why not? I think it would be good. So there's our mixture, and I will show you how to put this together. So I'm going to fill the crust here halfway, and if you have gravy left over, this is what I do. I just dump it in here. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. This is like the best thing. This one's for you, Vic. So you can feed your family today or tomorrow or whenever you want. Her son's home from college and that's awesome. Oh my God, look at this. Oh, it looks so good. You can't really put too much in there. Who cares how high it is? This will feed like 6 people. Yeah. Oh my God, look at that. Gorgeous, and I have enough. Maybe I'll eat that later. I'm gonna roll out the top crust, and what you do, you know, if you have your crust in one ball, keep more than half for the top, because you like the top crust to be a little thicker. And I do anyway. So you're gonna roll this out. When you make your crust, if you're not going to use it right away, put it in the refrigerator and keep it cold. And then it'll rest for a little while too. Makes it a little easier to roll out. So one good way to measure, if you have this big enough, you're just going to pick your plate up and go like this. Yeah. If you can see it around the edges, you know it's pretty close to being big enough. And now you're just gonna use your pin, which makes it a little easier to pick this up. Just place it on the top. Oh, look at that. See the suet? You can see the pieces of suet in there. So what you're gonna do is grab both of these edges and pinch them together. And seal it all the way around. Just like if you're making a pie. Make sure you get it all. And you know, if it's baking and you know, you blow out a side, who cares? It's still gonna be good. Who doesn't make a pie and it just, you know, one of your seams gives way? Just when you're cooking this, you could put like tin foil under it or something. Because if a piece of this suet is like hanging over the edge, it will melt and it'll go down into your oven. So this is a little bit, you know, too much. So you can take a knife and just cut this. Or if you want a real thick edge, you can, because, you know, I love the crust. So now here's how I seal, and I do this when I make pasty, I do this when I make pies. It's, you know, I was trying to teach my daughter and her friends when I was teaching them to make pasties, do this, and they had a hard time with it, but once you learn how to do it, it's not that hard. You have a thumb here and a thumb here, and you use these two fingers. You push the dough down. You just keep going like this. See how pretty? And you go all the way around. Oh, see, I blew a seam. All that gravy in there. But you can patch it. I could have had my bottom crust hang over a little bit more, but you can always take a piece of crust. If you see you have a hole in that, that'll seal. When you cook this, Vic, you might have a little mess, but it's gonna be a good mess. Okay, look at that. So you're gonna take a knife and you're gonna cut a hole in here, because it has to breathe or it will blow up. So, and that's it. Isn't that beautiful? My God. And it wasn't that hard, do you think? The crust, that's the hardest part, you know, and I showed you how to do it. So I'm going to show you what it looks like done. I cooked one earlier just so I could show you what it looks like. Oh, look at it. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh my God. And you want to let your pie, you know, when it comes out of the oven, you want it to sit for about 20 minutes. Because, you know, if you cut it, and who can wait, you know, you're just so excited to eat it. But if it sits for a little longer, it actually tastes better when it's a little cooler. And we'll let this one sit for a few minutes here, and then I'll cut it and show you what it looks like. It's a signature. That's good stuff. All right, so check this pie out. We are going to cut this bad boy, and this cooked for about, I would say 45 minutes to an hour. I had it on 350, and then I raised the temperature, so I would start it at 375. Oh my God, this crust is like so flaky. Now I'm gonna try to get this out of here, which is probably like impossible. I got this. Let me see if I can. Oh, there it goes. Oh, look at. Oh gosh. Yum. I always go, my first bite, I go for the crust. Look at that. It's so flaky. Oh my God. It's so good. If you think this isn't one of the best ways to use your Thanksgiving leftovers, that's a big double doubt it, because this will be the best crust and the best turkey pie you ever made, even if you put ketchup on it. So till next time, keep smiling. See ya. Oh God.